Program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability, which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is Kathy, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the January 8th issue of the East Aurora Advertiser on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Board member accused of being unethical. A Wales business's attorney states her case. By Shelley Ferrulo, editor. An attorney that has been representing a business in the town of Wales for years is making an argument that a board member has not been objective to her client because of his place of work. Attorney Anna Jost works for Auctions International Incorporated, located on Big Tree Road and owned by Russell Scherer. Jost represented Scherer in an Article 78 case that was filed in 2023 after the Wales Town Board denied Scherer an amendment on a special use permit to convert a warehouse at his business into an antique mall. The original court documents say that the town refused to produce public records in response to several FOIL requests, and the requests were not acknowledged years ago with a written denial either, which is against the law. Under the law, governments have 5 days to respond to a FOIL, Freedom of Information Law, request, and an additional 20 days to answer or deny the request. One of the items that was requested is an aerial image of the Auctions International property that was displayed during a town board meeting on November 8, 2022. Former council member Jeff Goronsky brought the image to the town board meeting, and he left with it that evening. The original image was never turned over to the town or to Jost. The court sided with Scherer in 2024. During the meeting on December 9, 2025, Jost said that she discovered on LinkedIn that Goronsky worked for a company called U.S. Innovative Construction, LLC. She said he should never have voted on anything pertaining to Scherer or Auctions International. This company is connected to Cash Auctions, Jost said. This company is a competitor of Auctions International. Mr. Goronsky says he has been working there since 2020. He was elected in 2022. These are ethical violations, and he should have abstained from voting on Auctions International. Scherer said when he finished auctioneering school in 1999, Cunningham threatened him. Cash threatened me and said I would work for him, Scherer said. He was not honest, and I would never work for him. Goronsky's term on the town board was from January 1, 2022 to January 1, 2026. His LinkedIn profile says that he has been working full-time at U.S. Innovative Construction, LLC in Tonawanda since June 2020. It also says that he has been working full-time at Campus Construction Management in Williamsville since June 2021. Goronsky was not at the meeting in December. In a follow-up interview, he said he left U.S. Innovative a year before being elected town council, and he has no connection to the late auctioneer Cash Cunningham. Cash Cunningham was not alive when I worked there, he said. His brother owned the construction company. I have worked for Campus Construction Management for nearly 6 years. Goronsky's seat on the town board was filled by Don Gallo after November's election. The Wales Town Board will meet again at 7 p.m., January 13th, at the Town Hall, located at 12345 Big Tree Road. Shared municipal dog contracts finalized. Town of Aurora will handle animals in Holland and Sardinia. By David Dahl, correspondent. Dog control agreements discussed since September have been finalized in the town of Aurora. The town board approved contracts with the towns of Holland and Sardinia on Monday, December 22nd. In a one-year contract starting January 1st, the town of Holland will pay the town of Aurora $15,000 for the seizure, removal, and shelter of stray dogs. Residents will pay a $40 per night kennel fee and a $75 impoundment fee if their dogs are found. For the services provided to the town of Sardinia, the town of Aurora will collect $10,000 for a one-year contract beginning January 1st. Dog owners will pay the same kennel and impoundment fees as Town of Holland residents. The Town of Holland has 464 licensed dogs, while the Town of Sardinia contains 291 licensed dogs. If services are needed outside dog control officers' hours, officials must contact the Erie County Sheriff's Department. Councilman Joseph McCann credited Highway Superintendent David Gunner for the agreements. "Thanks, Dave, for setting us up and doing the legwork," he said. The town board discussed the possibility of forming agreements with the towns during its work session in September. Gunner, who was also the dog control director, told board members about the need for dog control services in other towns. Private dog control providers resigned in the towns of Holland, Sardinia, and Wales. The town of Concord's dog control officer also resigned. A dog control sharing agreement has been established between the towns of Marilla and Elma. The towns of Boston and Concord have also agreed to share services. On another topic, the board adopted a law to revise lighting requirements without discussion. The law prevents residential and commercial lighting from interfering with residents' quality of life and conserves energy resources. To read the law, which lists many specifications, visit the town government's website at www.townofaurora.com. Click Town Board under Boards and Committees, click Meeting Schedule page, scroll to the town board meeting on December 22nd, and click Lighting Code. Board members approved all items 4-0 with Councilman Luke Wachensky absent. The board met at 11 a.m. instead of during the evening because of its annual luncheon after the second meeting in December. No one spoke during a public hearing about an application from Robert Hopkins Jr. to construct an addition on a building at 1073 Davis Road. In other matters, the board sent to the planning board a proposed site plan from Empire Solar to install a rooftop solar system on Thomas Miller's property at 50 Center Ridge Road, referred to the town court an expired building permit for Karen Rowell's property at 558 Center Street, accepted donations to the Town of Aurora Senior Center from Action Club for $500, Buffalo Area Daylily Society for $100, and Southtown Needle Nuts for $350. The groups meet monthly in the center. Announced the retirement of Randy Taylor, Assistant Emergency Manager, and the hiring of Dan Dziczkowski to replace him. Extended the board and committee appointments until January 12th, when the board will conduct its organizational meeting. Named Jean Viger to a 3-year term as registrar and a 1-year term as water clerk. Both terms will begin January 1st. Appointed Mary Pitkin, Stephanie Meyer, and Janice Colarusso as deputy town clerks. Colarusso, a former Town of Orchard Park clerk and supervisor, will receive $20 per hour as a part-time employee. The others will earn $22.75 per hour in full-time positions. Code changes mean added requirements for some. State expands permit to 500-year floodplain. By Sean Cunningham, staff reporter. Property owners who live in a 500-year floodplain will have some added restrictions for structures they plan to place on their property in 2026. New York State will now require properties within the 500-year floodplain to fill out a floodplain development permit. The previous requirement for this permit only extended to properties within a 100-year floodplain. A 500-year floodplain is defined as an area with a 0.2% annual chance of flooding. The most recent floodplain map was released by the Federal Emergency Management Agency in 2019 and can be viewed at msc.fema.gov/portal/home. The 500-year floodplain is noted in orange, whereas the 100-year floodplain is shown in blue. The newspaper sat down with Town of Aurora Code Enforcement Officer Elizabeth Cassidy to understand the new requirements and guidelines. Both the Town of Aurora and the Village of East Aurora have floodplain development permits. The permit requires the applicant to identify the type of structural development, estimated cost of the project, additional development activities, and determine the floodplain on the property. The applicant is required to submit a site plan, development plans, and specifications that includes details for anchoring structures, the extent of watercourse relocation, top of new fill elevation, and the flood-proofing protection level. A certification from a professional engineer that the proposed activity will not result in any increase in the height of the floodplain is also required. All projects will need to be built to flood standards. This means the structure cannot have a basement. It can still have a crawl space, but there will be need to have flood vents installed. All mechanical equipment must be placed 2 feet above the base flood elevation. Fill can be brought in to bring the grade of elevation up, but an engineering plan must be provided for its impact to neighboring properties. Cassidy said that this will not only apply to residential structures, but accessory buildings as well. Sheds and garages will need to be anchored into the ground, where previously they could be set on a stone base. Another change in the code slated to begin in 2026 was the ban on fossil fuels in most new construction, requiring electric heating and appliances over the next 3 years with the state's All-Electric Building Act. These changes are on hold at the moment, pending the outcome of legal challenges. Everything else that I've seen has been fine-tuning things, Cassidy said. For more information on the code requirements for village and town residents, contact Building and Code Enforcement at building@townofaurora.com or call 716-652-7591. Meetings. The East Aurora Village Board will meet at 7 p.m. Tuesday, January 20th at 575 Oakwood Avenue. Visit www.east-aurora.ny.us on the day of the meeting to see the agenda. The Alden Village Board will meet at 6:30 p.m. Tuesday, January 20th at the Village Hall located at 13336 Broadway. The Aurora Town Board will meet for a regular board meeting at 6:30 p.m. Monday, January 12th at 575 Oakwood Avenue. Visit www.townofaurora.com on the day of the meeting to learn more. The Alden Town Board will meet next at 6 p.m. Tuesday, January 20th at the Alden Town Hall located at 3311 Wendy Road. The Elma Town Board will meet at 7 p.m. Wednesday, January 28th for a meeting at the Elma Town Hall on Bowen Road. The next Wales Town Board meeting is scheduled for 7 p.m. Tuesday, January 13th in the Wales Town Hall located at 12345 Big Tree Road. The Holland Town Board will meet at 7 p.m. Wednesday, February 4th in the Holland Town Hall on Pearl Street. The East Aurora School Board will meet at 7 p.m. Wednesday, January 14th for a board meeting on the second floor of the middle school on Main Street. The Iroquois School Board will meet at 7 p.m. Wednesday, January 14th for a meeting in STEM Room number 96 at the middle school on Girdle Road in Elma. And the Holland School Board will meet at 6 p.m. Monday, January 26th in the library of the middle school on Partridge Road. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the East Aurora Advertiser on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Aurora Police Report. Criminal impersonation leads to felony charges. Trevor Beets from East Aurora is facing several charges, including felony criminal impersonation of a police officer and menacing in the 3rd degree. He is also charged with aggravated harassment in the 2nd degree. According to the report, an EMS call regarding a possible panic attack was made at 6 p.m. Sunday, December 28th. The victim, an 18-year-old female from East Aurora, stated that she got into an argument with Beets about needing to be woken up for work. The victim then dropped Beets off at work. The report says Beets was angry and began calling the victim's phone. He stated he spoke with police and that she will be receiving a restraining order from police in a few days. The victim hung up the phone. Beets then texted the victim. Beets had a parent contact the victim to inform her that she needed to go to his work as there were police waiting to talk to her. The victim did not answer and received multiple voicemails from an unknown caller ID. 3 voicemails were left, each claiming to be a police officer from the East Aurora Police Department. Each name was fake. The report says the victims suspected that it was Beats' voice leaving the messages and saved the audio recordings. The victim also relayed a domestic incident that occurred on December 8th, in which Beats threatened her physical harm because he was late picking her up from work. Another incident that resulted in an unloaded BB gun being pointed at her was also relayed. The victim stated that she wishes to press charges and requested an order of protection. Mental health transport. An altered mental status was reported at 9 a.m. Tuesday, December 30th. Upon arrival, the subject, a 56-year-old female from East Aurora, was met outside with her spouse. According to the report, the spouse stated that his wife has dementia and is not taking her medication. The subject was hitting her spouse and continued to talk while making no sense. An ambulance was called, and while waiting for it to arrive, the subject became combative with officers. The subject was hitting and kicking and had to be restrained until the ambulance arrived on scene. The subject was transported to ECMC on mental health paperwork. Assist other agency. A temporary extreme risk protection order was received via fax from the SUNY Geneseo Police Department at 4:45 p.m. Saturday, December 13th. The order indicated it was to be served between the hours of 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. On Sunday, December 14th, the protection order was served to a 23-year-old male from East Aurora. The subject indicated that at no time have they ever possessed or owned firearms and that there were no firearms present inside their home. The residence and subject's vehicle were searched and no firearms were found. An affidavit of services was completed and all information was forwarded to SUNY Geneseo Police. DWI. A 23-year-old female from East Aurora was charged with DWI and reckless driving following a traffic stop that occurred at 10:30 on Tuesday, December 23rd. According to the report, a vehicle traveling eastbound on Quaker Road was speeding. The vehicle was estimated to be going 68 miles per hour and confirmed via radar to be traveling 71 miles per hour. A traffic stop was conducted in a Gray Street parking lot. During the roadside interview, the subject stated that she did not have her license but was able to provide vehicle registration. The report says she was displaying signs of intoxication, and when asked, she stated that she was traveling to and from home and that she had a few beverages. She then reportedly became agitated and confrontational. The subject was asked to participate in seated car tests, to which she agreed. While each test was explained and demonstrated, the subject would interrupt and not follow instructions. The report says the respondent officer turned off the engine because the driver would not do so when requested. The subject refused to submit to standard field sobriety tests and was arrested and taken to the station for processing. A vehicle inventory was conducted, and the vehicle was towed from the scene with a 12-hour hold being placed on it. The subject was asked to submit a breathalyzer test 3 times, which she declined. The subject was processed without incident and released to a sober third party. Petty larceny. A 45-year-old male from East Aurora reported to be the victim of theft following 2 incidents that occurred during the month of December. According to the report, at 2 p.m. on Sunday, December 14th, a ski race tuning set the victim had ordered had been delivered at the end of his driveway with email confirmation. A short time after, the victim was unable to locate the package and still does not have it. The package was purchased for approximately $300. At 1:30 p.m. Tuesday, December 30th, the victim received another package that was delivered to the end of his driveway, which was confirmed by another photo. At 3:30 p.m. the same day, the victim was unable to locate the package and still does not have it. The value of this package is approximately $250. The victim now believes that both packages were stolen. The victim is unsure why the delivery company consistently drops packages at the end of his driveway when other companies do not. The delivery company has been contacted regarding these incidents, and he is awaiting a call back from them. Criminal mischief. A 76-year-old female from East Aurora has been the victim of reported criminal mischief involving her vehicle. The incident was reported on Thursday, January 1st. According to the report, the victim stated that someone had damaged the lock cap on one of her vehicle's door handles. The victim stated that her grandson borrowed her vehicle on Thursday, December 25th, and when he returned it on Thursday, January 1st, she observed damage to the door handle. The grandson stated he was unaware of any damage while he had the vehicle in his possession. The lock cap was observed to be completely missing, as well as any other mechanical components that may have been within. The victim stated she had a similar incident occur on the other side of her vehicle approximately 1 month prior. No additional damage was observed. The victim stated that nothing had been taken from the vehicle. The victim stated that she spoke with the property management of her residence, who stated that there is no video surveillance of the incident. Unlicensed driver. A 38-year-old male from Lackawanna was charged with aggravated unlicensed operation of a motor vehicle following a traffic stop that occurred at 10:30 p.m. Friday, January 2nd. According to the report, a vehicle was traveling eastbound on Main Street when a DMV inquiry was conducted. The inquiry showed the inspection on the vehicle to have expired in September. A traffic stop was conducted. The subject produced a copy of his state-issued identification card when asked to show his license. A further inquiry revealed that his license was suspended for failing to answer a summons out of the city of North Tonawanda. The subject was advised of his suspension and processed roadside without incident. Mental health transport. A 63-year-old male from Douglasville, Georgia, was transported to a local hospital following an incident that occurred at a Main Street bar at midnight on Sunday, January 4th. According to the report, an employee from the bar on Main Street stated the subject was heavily intoxicated and confrontational with staff. He was also asleep on the bar. The subject was unable to give any information on where he was staying and was placed on mental health paperwork. He was transported by ambulance. The East Aurora Advertiser's police report is intended to provide information about local law enforcement and activity using data provided by the East Aurora Police Department. Suspects' names are withheld from the blotter as the advertiser does not usually provide coverage of the courts or investigate blotter items. Village of East Aurora elections scheduled for Wednesday, March 18th. Election day for village offices will fall on a Wednesday in 2026 rather than a Tuesday. New York State election law 15-104 says that general village elections are to be held on the third Tuesday in March unless the third Tuesday is March 17th. In 2026, St. Patrick's Day falls on a Tuesday. Therefore, village elections will be held the following day. There will be 4 positions on the ballot: mayor and 3 trustee seats. Mayor Peter Mercurio's 4-year term is expiring, as well as the terms for trustees Ernie Shear, Grace Viger, and Molly Flynn. Tuesday, December 30th, 2025, was the first day that petitions could be signed for candidates. In villages with 5,000 or more residents, at least 100 registered voters must sign an independent nominating petition for a candidate to run on a ballot. Tuesday, February 10th, is the last day to file a petition to run for village office. 6. The Town of Aurora Democratic Committee is accepting applications for one town office for the 2026 election cycle. The position that will be up for election is town supervisor. Prospective candidates should submit a resume and letter of intent to auroradems14052@gmail.com. A letter of intent should be approximately 500 words describing why the candidate is interested in running for local office, detailing involvement in the community, and explaining why they are a Democrat. If not a Democrat, the candidate should explain why they are seeking the Democratic endorsement. The letter should also highlight specific issues facing the town the candidate would like to focus on. Following this initial email, candidates will be invited to come before the committee to answer questions before official endorsements are made. Any town residents who meet the qualifications can apply. The deadline to submit is 11:59 p.m., Friday, January 30th. The following events and classes will take place at the Aurora Town Public Library, located at 550 Main Street in East Aurora. Space is limited and registration can occur by calling the library at 716-652-4440, by visiting bit.ly/ATPL programs, or signing up in person. Silent Book Club. The library will offer cozy space by the fireplace for people to read or listen to audiobooks together from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. on February 3rd and March 3rd. Feel free to bring a covered coffee or tea. At the end of the hour of reading, attendees may choose to socialize or not. This free program is geared for adults. Studio nights. 2 sessions of freestyle craft nights for older children and tweens will take place in February. Children 8 to 10 years old are invited to join from 7 to 7:30 p.m. Tuesday, February 3rd, and children 11 to 13 years old are invited 6 to 7:30 p.m. February 5th. Tech Help. Adults who are interested in learning more about the tools their devices have to make it easier to see, hear, and work with them can register for a one-on-one technology consultation with an accessibility expert through the library to review helpful tools available on smartphones, tablets, Kindles, and laptops. Appointments are available on an ongoing basis. Lego Club. Lego lovers 6 to 11 years old are invited to build and create at 11 a.m. on Saturday, January 10th and February 7th. The finished Lego creations will be displayed in the library for the rest of the month. Young Adult Book Club. Book Club for young adults will take place at 6 p.m. February 12th. Participants will travel to other worlds through reading, play games, enjoy snacks, and create a small craft. This program is sponsored by the Friends of the Library. Library leaders. Teenagers 13 to 18 years old are invited to begin planning at 6 p.m. February 10th for the next Library Leaders program that is scheduled for May. At this meeting, participants will brainstorm ideas, talk about volunteering opportunities at the library, and find new ways to get involved in the community. This program is sponsored by the Friends of the Library. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the East Aurora Advertiser on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. 42 North Barrel Jam 6 lineup. 42 North Brewing Company will host the 6th annual Barrel Jam Festival on Saturday, January 24th in East Aurora. Barrel Jam is a beer festival celebrating the art of barrel aging beers with beer samplings, live music, and winter sports activities around the brewery's campus. In addition to 42 North, this year's lineup includes other breweries in New York State and beyond, including Wild East, Eli Fish, Prison City, Myers Creek, Jack's Abbey, Brewery Ardennes, Ellicottville Brewing Company, Strange Bird, 1911 Cider, Drowned Lands, and Brewery Omegang. In addition to the barrel-aged beers, the event features a rail jam ski snowboard competition hosted by Holiday Valley with a ramp and rail set up in the alley behind the brewery. Following the beer sampling, the Funk Nights will hit the stage inside the brewery at 5 p.m. Tickets include 3 hours of beer tasting, live music, and a complimentary tasting glass. A limited number of VIP tickets will also be sold that offer festival attendees an additional hour of tasting. Tickets are now on sale at bit.ly/barreljam26 or at 42 North Brewing Company. Winter Fair celebration coming to Aurora Waldorf School. The Winter Fair is a tradition at the Aurora Waldorf School on West Falls Road that offers craft activities, storytelling, a visit to the Enchanted Castle, jump rope making, and more. This year's event is scheduled for 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday, January 17th. Aurora Waldorf School educates early childhood through 8th grade students on a 13-acre campus bordering a creek and an old-growth forest. Founded in 1991, the school is a member of the New York State Association of Independent Schools, the Association of Waldorf Schools of North America, and the Waldorf Early Childhood Association of North America. The school attracts a diverse community of families and faculty. Visit www.aurorawaldorfschool.org for more information. Obituaries. Bonnie Malberg, mother and grandmother. Bonnie L. Malberg, August 21st, 1949 to December 28th, 2025. Bonnie L. née Weed Malberg of South Buffalo died on Sunday, December 28th, 2025. She was 76. She is survived by her children Lisa Hilliard, married to Robert, Michael Malberg, married to Heather, and Matthew Malberg. Grandchildren Alyssa Veach, married to Peter, Alexander Hilliard, Kate Hilliard, Charles Malberg, married to Tori, Katerina Malberg, married to Mike Childers, Michael Malberg, married to Megan, Tiffany Schultz, married to Jarrett, and Tanner Malberg, married to Brianna. Great-grandchildren Peyton Veach, Eli Veach, Isabel Childers, Grayson Childers, Caden Childers, Ashton Cooper Childers, Allison Malberg, Kaylee Malberg, Elijah Malberg, and Scarlett Schultz. Siblings Nancy, wife of the late Bruce Lewis, Charles Weed, and Carol Jaworski, and many nieces, nephews, and cousins. Mrs. Malberg was predeceased by her sister Maureen Sessions. The funeral service was held at Baker United Memorial Methodist Church, 345 Main Street in East Aurora on Saturday, January 3rd. Burial followed at Hillcrest Cemetery. In lieu of flowers, memorials may be directed to the Alzheimer's Association by visiting alz.org. Wood Funeral Home, located at 784 Main Street, East Aurora, has completed arrangements for the family and offers a site for online condolences at www.woodfh.com. Donate blood in January. The Red Cross is providing 2 opportunities to donate blood or platelets throughout January. Donations will be collected from noon to 5 p.m. on Thursday, January 15th at the Hampton Inn in East Aurora, located at 49 Olean Street. A second opportunity will take place 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday, January 17th at the Marilla Community Center, located at 1810 Two Rod Road. Download the American Red Cross Blood Donor app, visit redcrossblood.org, call 1-800-733-2767, or enable the blood donor skill on any Alexa Echo device to make an appointment or for more information. All blood types are needed. A blood donor card or driver's license or 2 other forms of identification are required at check-in. Individuals who are 17 years old, weigh at least 110 pounds, and are in generally good health may be eligible to donate blood. High school students and other donors 18 years old and younger also have to meet certain height and weight requirements. Gossel named to Dean's List. Ashley Gossel of South Wales has been named to the Dean's List at Cedarville University for the fall 2025 semester, having earned a 3.5 or higher grade point average. Lunch at the Town of Aurora Senior Center, January 12th through 16th. Seniors take advantage of the lunch program the county offers Monday through Friday at noon at the Town of Aurora Senior Center, 101 King Street at Oakwood Avenue. Meet new friends. All seniors are welcome. The lunch price is $3. To make or cancel a reservation, call 652-7934. Monday, lasagna roll with tomato meat sauce and mozzarella, broccoli florets, grape juice, Italian bread, and sugar cookies. Tuesday, Swedish meatballs over pasta, Harvard beets, peas, chef salad with dressing, and pineapple tidbits. Wednesday, chicken breast with gravy, sweet potatoes, lima bean bake, dinner roll, fresh orange, and chocolate milk. Thursday, hearty pork stew, mashed potatoes, carrots, dinner roll, and strawberry gelatin. Friday, Martin Luther King Jr. meal, breaded chicken drumsticks, red beans and rice, seasoned greens, corn muffin, and banana cream pie. Marilla Senior Lunch Program at the Marilla Community Center, January 12th to 16th. Seniors take advantage of the lunch program the county offers on Mondays and Fridays at the Marilla Community Center, 1810 Two Rod Road in Marilla. Meet new friends. All residents 60 years and older are welcome. Participants are asked for a voluntary donation of $3. To make a reservation, please call 652-5350, extension 402. Please give 48 hours notice if reserving. Monday, lasagna roll with tomato meat sauce and mozzarella, broccoli florets, grape juice, Italian bread, and sugar cookies. Friday, Martin Luther King Jr. meal, breaded chicken drumsticks, red beans and rice, seasoned greens, corn muffin, and banana cream pie. Reader's opinion. Democracy is slipping through our fingers. Dear editor, on December 25th, many Christians celebrated the birth of Jesus Christ, called by many the Prince of Peace. He came to the poorest of the poor living in an oppressed, occupied country where today the Palestinians live in Bethlehem under a similar horrible occupation and genocide in Gaza. Christ from Palestine called us to welcome the stranger, the alien, and to feed the poor. His parents had to flee as refugees in order to save Jesus from Herod's ordered massacre, not unlike many parents from Latin America who have had to flee their home country to prevent their children from being killed. Fortunately, Mary and Joseph were not deported, but were accepted and cared for by strangers in another country, and Jesus lived due to Egyptians who welcomed the strangers. On December 25th, Trump taught our youth Democrats are scum and sleazebags. Our media propagated this with gusto. These denigrating, hate-filled words from Trump are the primary, emphatic political discourse many of our youth have ever known. At other times, he has taught them entire peoples were garbage, rapists, and murderers, and labeled other countries shithole countries. He told Democrats, enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas, all the opposite of Christ's teachings. Our youth are being recruited and compensated very well with our tax dollars to join ICE to save America from the people Trump has dehumanized. Dehumanization is the usual step before imprisonment, deportation, and/or death. Our youth are being motivated to capture those whose only crime is escaping violence and poverty, sometimes caused by our subsidized corn and beans depriving them of an adequate family income or dictatorial violence, narco states like we established in Honduras. These people are sometimes being captured brutally before being sent to prisons that are hellholes where torture is occurring. And the man who has made immoral, unbelievably extensive grifting normal is getting richer every minute. And he who promised peace is unconstitutionally bombing countries in Africa and unidentified travelers on boats in the Caribbean. One retired general said this is clearly illegal, as being a potential drug smuggler does not justify extrajudicial killing. General Kelly said, if Trump was elected, God save us. Our country has been purposely deeply divided by the moneyed powers, some of whom stood behind Trump at his inauguration, not exactly the shepherds who Christ came to. Their purpose is to establish a dictatorship of the super wealthy, not the people. Only we, the people, can come together to turn our ship of state around from this utter decimation of our founders' hopes for both ourselves and as an example for all other nations. Kate Smith made famous a song heralding God Bless America. These blessings have occurred abundantly beyond belief. Is what our country doing with these blessings determining that we deservedly lose the invaluable gift of democracy given to us through the blood of our soldiers? Democracy we are denying the Palestinians based today on war is the opposite of Christ's teachings. Peter, put down your sword. A Little League baseball coach who prevented ICE from entering his team's practice field denied them entry, saying, I was ready to die on that field. In what will be the most critical year in our history, 2026, others are also willing to die for our children's future, freedom, and democracy. Tom Casey, East Aurora. Honoring Bill Moog and his lifelong work. Dear Editor, the most brilliant-minded and greatest person to live in East Aurora, New York. Bill Moog's brilliant mind invented the revolutionary electro-hydraulic servo valve in 1951 and founded Moog Incorporated, a global tech giant that brought innovation and jobs that shaped our local economy. Moog's philosophy is trust and creativity in the workplace, making Bill a visionary entrepreneur, local hero, and pillar of Western New York's tech history. By 1954, Moog valves were standard equipment on half of the United States fighter aircraft and far more than 70% of all guided missiles. By 1960, industrial sales were at $10 million. Later, Bill Moog was selected for Western New York Business Hall of Fame. Bill was known to hire the most brilliant minds our world has ever known. Today, Moog Incorporated is a worldwide designer and integrator of precision control components and systems. Moog Incorporated high-performance systems control military and commercial aircraft, satellites, and space vehicles, launch vehicles, missiles, automated industrial machinery, marine and medical equipment, and much, much more. Moog Incorporated is in 28 countries and headquartered in Elma. Our local area has numerous plants manufacturing, assembling, testing, and design engineers, and much more. Moog net worth was $7.73 billion as of December 12, 2025. Today, Moog Incorporated is truly a giant with $3.866 billion in annual sales and still growing. Over 8,000 employees in 28 countries makes Moog Incorporated a global company. Locally, Moog Incorporated employs over 4,000. Moog Incorporated is recognized as one of the greatest places to work in the world, with job careers too numerous to mention. Moog Incorporated has paid hundreds of millions to pay for free education and specialized skills to its employees. Today, Elma, East Aurora, and surrounding villages and towns of those over 4,000 employees imagine this kind of money nourishing our communities, past, present, and future. Generations. Note, just a short walk from my house, 7 homes have raised their families from Moog Incorporated employees' payroll. We sure have a lot to be thankful for. Moog Incorporated has done more in 75 years by raising hundreds of millions in payroll to employees and donations to local communities and buying building supplies, grounds, and business supplies for their numerous buildings. Bill Moog died August 27, 1997, on Friday at his house in Stuart, Florida, at age 82. All this happened because of a brilliant-minded Bill Moog. Moog Incorporated, being a giant contributor to the United States military, allows citizens of the United States to go to bed with no fear and wake up with no fear. Please give some thought. Note, because of our military, the United States is the most powerful country on planet Earth. I am a United States-born citizen, United States Army veteran, one of the owners of the United States. Howard G. Hoffman, East Aurora. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the East Aurora Advertiser on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Keep sidewalks free of snow. Every winter season, a concern for local fire departments is that they will respond to a fire emergency and arrive to discover that a fire hydrant is buried under snow. Digging one out can take precious time away from managing the problem. Be careful to watch for vehicles when near the roadway and do not use heavy machinery when near the hydrants so they are not damaged. With snowfall forecasts predicted in the region, people should remember to carefully clear away snow from nearby hydrants and keep them easy to access for volunteer firefighters. In addition, property owners in the village of East Aurora are required to remove snow from public sidewalks on their property. While there is a village-owned sidewalk plow that makes its way around the community, people are still responsible for cleaning the sidewalks in front of their property soon after a snowfall. Granted for safety around new stadium. The town of Orchard Park has been awarded $120,000 in federal funding through the U.S. Department of Transportation's Safe Streets and Roads for All, SS4A, program to develop a Bill Stadium Safe Streets Action Plan. The funding will support the development of a comprehensive safety action plan focused on improving pedestrian, bicycle, and motorist safety in the area surrounding the new Highmark Stadium, home of the Buffalo Bills. The plan will assess existing conditions and recommend targeted infrastructure improvements, including wider sidewalks, upgraded curb ramps, and enhanced sidewalks, with an emphasis on reducing fatal and serious injury crashes. The Safe Streets Action Plan will include an inventory of current roadway and pedestrian conditions, design recommendations, project phasing, and a clear implementation roadmap. These findings will guide future infrastructure investments and help improve safety and accessibility for all roadway users. The grant is administered by the U.S. Department of Transportation's Office of the Secretary and supports communities within New York's 23rd Congressional District. The Active Voice, the Advertiser's sports column. On the road again. I was watching the Bills Hallmark movie. Oh gosh, I outed myself as one who watches Hallmark movies at my mother-in-law's over the holidays, and I was once again struck by the hometown feel that the movie evokes. I say once again because I had a watch party at my house the night it premiered. Yes, a watch party. We'll get to the reasoning in a minute. I made beef on weck, and our friends brought home-cooked chicken wings. Anyway, I was struck by the loyalty to the Bills and the city of Buffalo as a whole that the movie alludes to, and just how accurate the portrayal of loyalty is. They nailed it. Don't get me wrong, the romantic plot was as hokey as any Hallmark movie I've ever seen. Yes, I have seen multiple Hallmark movies. There is one on right now at my mother-in-law's. But the greeting of Go Bills and the Bills garb and the lawn ornaments all were spot on. And yes, of course, it was fun to see all the East Aurora landmarks, complete with a bartender I know right next to a Hallmark mainstay leading man at the bar bill. Being one who tends to overanalyze, I was moved by all of the East Aurora, Buffalo, and Buffalo Bills references. I do understand that the hoopla caused by the filming and grand opening at the Aurora Theater was not as wonderful for some locals as one who lives out of town might think, but it was still pretty cool to see. My wife and I had our friends Alan and Joanna over for Buffalo food and the premiere of Holiday Touchdown, A Bill's Love Story, as a prequel to our trip to East Aurora for Thanksgiving. We rented an Airbnb for the third time second Thanksgiving. Alan and Johanna and their daughter Abby are not necessarily Bills fans like my wife's son and I, but they are East Aurora and Buffalo fans. It's pretty cool when people who have no other connection to your hometown ask if they can keep coming back. Goes to show you that we should never take anything for granted. East Aurora really is a special place. We did all of the cool stuff that one does while in East Aurora and Buffalo. Vidler's was near maximum capacity fire code-wise, which added to the experience for our out-of-town friends. My brother Rick, Alan, and I an amazing storytelling session with my former assistant middle school principal, Mr. Brunson, at the Round Table Wall and Wines, and we all got to spend some time at the General Riley House, now owned by my very good friends Tony and Renee. I will toot my own sports-related horn for a second. All 6 of us signed up for the Turkey Trot, a race I have run over 25 times. But come a cold and windy Thanksgiving morning, I was the only one of the 6 of us who dragged my butt out of bed, made the trip downtown, and slogged my way through the 4.8 miles. And I am the oldest of the bunch. I don't even need to tell you that I met other runner friends for holiday morning beers after the race. It was well worth it. And so was the bus ride to the starting line, which is the real reason I include this part of the trip. An entirely different kind of listening can go on if one is alone in close quarters among many during a festive occasion. The spirited conversations I witnessed about Thanksgiving Eve revelry and the day's post-race plans on that bus ride were nothing short of wonderful. That Thanksgiving trip was one of 3 in 4 weeks we made to the area recently. The following weekend, I brought my 15-year-old son back for a Bills game. He had requested that he be able to see the old stadium one more time before they move. But actually, I think he really wanted the tailgate food and to spend time listening to my friends tell stories about me in the good old days. The truth is, my friends take very good care of Brinton when he is in East Aurora. It's like he has a whole bunch of aunts and uncles, and I know he is a better kid from spending time with my childhood friends. This particular Bills trip included an overnight for Brinton with his actual cousins in Hamburg, which he loves. The Bills beat the Bengals in a nail-biter. That was enthralling for Brinton, a skeptical Bills fan if I have ever seen one. And he got an extra look at the new and old stadium after the game as I exited us through the wrong gate leaving the stadium. It was a good, long walk. The third trip was for a wedding, the weekend before Christmas, right in downtown Buffalo. Brinton's godfather, Frankie, was marrying the love of his life in 4 7-hour trips to and from Buffalo in the last 3 weeks, and my wife having been part of the Thanksgiving round trip. Off we went to Buffalo again. On that trip, we never even saw the light of East Aurora or the majority of family and friends from there, but we did spend a special weekend in the city of Buffalo, connecting with Brinton's God family and reconnecting with many old friends. Even on the dance floor of a hotel ballroom, the spirit of Buffalo and Buffalo Bills were evident. The DJ knew his audience well, including renditions of the anthems Bills Make Me Want to Shout and Where Would You Rather Be, and the song Mr. Brightside as some of his final selections at the reception. It was a grand time. By now, I'm sure you are wondering why I thought you'd be interested in my travelogue from the 2025 holiday season, regardless of the fact that I have managed to include references to sports. Here is my reasoning. If these words make it to print, they will be seen sometime after the holidays. We all know, and Hallmark movies tell us, that holidays are for connecting with family and acknowledging who is important to us. But the weeks and even months afterwards can be dark, literally and metaphorically. Some of us tend to hole up and wait for the darkness to brighten. But those people we travel to see and accept into our homes, whatever home means to you, and those we offer gifts to and accept from others, they are just as important to us in January, February, and March as they are from Thanksgiving to New Year's. I am going to be honest. The holiday season isn't much of a holiday for me. I am one of those types, too many challenging memories, but I muddle through, and as I do so, I do take account of the people I love, get to see, and would like to connect with all year long. Maybe I am making a New Year's resolution. Stay connected. Mike Oler graduated from East Aurora High School with the great class of 1978. He works, teaches, cheers on the Bills, and talks sports outside of Burlington, Vermont, where he lives with his family, although East Aurora will always be his hometown. M&T Bank offers free Bills flags. With playoff preparations underway for the Buffalo Bills, M&T Bank is distributing 25,000 newly designed Believe Together flags at branches across Buffalo and Rochester. The Believe Together flags are part of M&T's Football Brings Us Together campaign, an initiative launched by M&T to celebrate its communities along with the values and passions that bring Bills fans together. The flags are frequently spotted at tailgates, inside the stadium on game days, and throughout the week at local businesses and the homes of Bills fans in Western New York and beyond. Featuring the iconic Standing Buffalo logo, the new flag honors the Bills' legacy as the team concludes its farewell season at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park. The free flags will be available on a first-come, first-served basis starting January 5th, while supplies last. Flags can be picked up at all M&T Bank branches in Buffalo and Rochester. East Aurora Sports Schedule, January 11th to 17th, 2026. Basketball, Boys JV. Tuesday, January 13th at Depew, 5 p.m. Friday, January 16th versus Tonawanda, 5:30 p.m. Saturday, January 17th at Cheektowaga, 10:30 a.m. Basketball, Boys Varsity. Tuesday, January 13th at Depew, 6:30 p.m. Friday, January 16th versus Tonawanda, 7 p.m. Saturday, January 17th at Cheektowaga, 12 p.m. Basketball, Boys Modified. Monday, January 12th at Iroquois, 6:30 p.m. Thursday, January 15th versus Cheektowaga, 6:15 p.m. Basketball, Girls JV. Tuesday, January 13th versus Pioneer, 5:30 p.m. Friday, January 16th at Depew, 5 p.m. Basketball, Girls Varsity. Tuesday, January 13th versus Pioneer, 7 p.m. Friday, January 16th at Depew, 6:30 p.m. Basketball, Girls Modified. Monday, January 12th at Iroquois, 5 p.m. Thursday, January 15th versus Cheektowaga, 5 p.m. Boys swimming, Tuesday, January 13th at Starpoint, 5:30 p.m. Friday, January 16th at Alden, 5:30 p.m. Wrestling, varsity, Wednesday, January 14th versus Iroquois, 7 p.m. Wrestling, modified, Monday, January 12th at Starpoint, 6 p.m. and Thursday, January 15th at Clarence, 5:30 p.m. Adirondack Mountain Club to meet in January. Adirondack Mountain Club, Niagara Frontier Chapter, ADK-NFC meetings have returned to Amherst Community Church, UCC, the previous meeting spot for 30 years. The next meeting starts at 6:15 p.m. January 13th at Amherst Community Church, UCC, located at 77 Washington Highway, Snyder, 14226. There will be a program about Knots You Need to Know by member Ed Kasparek. The main program at 7:30 p.m. features Outside Chronicles' Mike Radomski and his unguided ascent of Mount Rainier. The parking lot is behind the church, is wheelchair and elevator accessible. The meeting will be upstairs in Friendship Hall. Guests are welcome. East Aurora High School Athlete of the Week, January 8th to 14th, 2026. Cam Krieger. Cam is the EAHS Athlete of the Week for wrestling. Cam went a perfect 5-0 individually at the St. Mary's Duels this past weekend, helping lead the team to a strong 3-2 finish. Also, Mina Vincent Groves. Mina is the EAHS Athlete of the Week for wrestling. Cam went... I'm sorry, there's an error in the article here, and there is not an accurate description for Mina Vincent Groves, but congratulations, Mina. East Aurora Holland Matmen 10th at tournament. Maxwell Yount is champion at 138 pounds by Mike Tanner, sports reporter. On January 3rd, East Aurora Holland wrestled at the 57th annual Jerry K. Dreyer Wrestling Tournament hosted by Akron. The Blue Devils finished 10th and had one champion, Maxwell Yount, at 138 pounds. Lackawanna won the team title after the Steelers scored 158 points. North Tonawanda finished second after the Lumberjacks tallied 141.5 points. Starpoint finished third after the Spartans compiled 100 points. East Aurora Holland finished 10th in the 11-team field after the Blue Devils added up 45 points. Yount won the 138 pounds championship to lead the Blue Devils. Yount beat Logan Lombardo, Lewiston Porter by technical fall 17-1 in the finals. Camden Krieger finished third at 150 pounds, and Tristan Whitman finished fourth at 165 pounds for the Blue Devils. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from the January 8th issue of the East Aurora Advertiser. We read from the East Aurora Advertiser every Saturday at 10 a.m. Your reader has been Kathy. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have a reading of the Niagara Gazette. At noon, we have the Dunkirk Observer. And at 1 o'clock, we have some of our Northtown Bees, including Amherst, Clarence, Cheektowaga, Lancaster, and Depew. Stay with us for these readings and more throughout the day. You're listening to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. As of this year, our agency has broadcast more than 300,000 hours of radio readings. Volunteer radio readers read newspapers, magazines, and books to area people who are blind or have a print disability, who are provided reading radios. Radio Reading's broadcast signal is provided at no charge by WNED. Radio Reading broadcasts from studios at 1199 Harlem Road in suburban Buffalo. Please let others know about Radio Reading. It's your service. For more information on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, call 716-821-5555. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision,